Nishal Maheshwari, the Chief Executive Officer, Institutional Equities and Advisory at Centrum Broking, joins us on the show. Hi Nishal, good morning and good to see you. Well, let's take Macrotech developers first up. They've just come out with their numbers. Collections up 20%, pre-sales up 40%, and there is some debt reduction. What do you like from the real estate pack, and if at all a view on Lodha, that's Macrotech?
Morning, Nigel. I think the juggernaut just continues basically. I think the rebound in the real estate space is still too early. It's, I think, only 2 years old. And we have seen historically basically that whenever the tide changes, especially in the real estate, it is there for at least 5 to 7 years. So I think there is a long way to go and there is strong demand on the ground. You've seen month after month, the registration numbers have been very strong. So I continue to believe basically, especially in the bigger markets like Mumbai, Bangalore, Delhi, I think things are just starting off. So yes, it's a very good space to be in. The only thing is happening is basically as far as stock market is concerned, basically I think the stocks have run quite ahead of their valuations. And that's why we are a bit cautious on the whole thing. But yes, what we like in South is Prestige Estates, and in Mumbai we like Macrotech. So I think these are our top picks basically, and obviously Godrej is also there, but I think valuations are a bit aggressive.
All right, that's pretty healthy actually. Macrotech developers Q4 updates, collections up 20%, pre-sales up 40%, so the going is pretty good. Nishal, good morning and thanks for joining in. I wanted your thoughts on some of these jewelry, manufacturers or players. Kalyan Jewellers just reported their numbers, very strong 38% revenue growth. We've seen Titan pick up as well. Your thoughts on this space and anything that you like here?
So interestingly, I think the discretionary space, if you look at it, it's not the same across, but I think jewelry, as most Indians basically are partial towards that, I think it's done very well actually. Now I think this is the third or the fourth quarter and at a 38% kind of a growth for Kalyan. So I think two things are happening out there. One is Kalyan is penetration also. I think he's now moving towards north and west and opening up stores very aggressively. So you're seeing partially that. And I think SSG growth has also come out pretty good for Kalyan. It has been our top pick. Again, I think somewhere the valuations are peaking out for Kalyan basically. Our target price is something like around 420, 430 only. So we are almost there. But we should see basically how the numbers come out in the current quarter and possibly we'll revise it upwards. But I think the space is doing very well. We have not seen any issue basically on a rising gold prices. Also, historically, we had seen that whenever the prices went up, people just took a step back and waited for it to cool down. But I think this current quarter has still been very, very strong. So continue to believe basically that this is a good space to be in.
Okay. By the way, there's a big fall in the debt for Lodha as well. Macrotech developers, that is. I think the debt has fallen to about just 3,000 crores on a year-on-year basis. That's a steep fall, and that's something that the street will definitely like. So we'll keep an eye out on that stock. But
as Nishal, Vivek also, my colleague Vivek had also broken the story on UPL yesterday. So just wanted your thoughts. I mean, if you have coverage there. So the problem, of course, has been very high debt, and consequently, we saw a credit rating agency downgrade their assessment as well. But now there is an IPO of one of its subsidiaries which they're planning, and they're going to try and delever UPL's balance sheet from proceeds of that IPO. So any thoughts at all here? It's a slightly bombed out name.
Yes, I agree basically, but I think there is a very strong value out there. Unfortunately, I think the agrochemical market per se is not doing very well, basically both domestically and internationally. And in case of UPL, the larger portion is coming from the international markets. That's why I think they had a loss last quarter, and I continue to believe that the loss will continue in this quarter also. But I think this is a welcome thing basically, because if you remember, they have now split the company internally at least into 4 units. And I think one of the units, which is the most profitable one, is now going in for a listing. We have to wait and see whether it's going to be a local listing or international listing. But this is the international seeds business basically, which they are planning to list. I believe this is going to be the first step towards unlocking of value as far as UPL is concerned. And subsequently, I think they are going to list it, the other units also, which they have not announced at the moment. But this will definitely help them cut down their debt and unlocking of value. So I think at these prices, definitely UPL is a good bet at these prices.
Right. That's a CNBC TV exclusive, by the way. I forgot to add that, Vivek's story. The other one, which my colleague Ritu put out, was, again, an exclusive. This is another even more bombed out name, Jaiprakash Associates. Now here, I mean, it's a long-running saga, right? But now it looks like by the end of April, there is resolution coming. Now, the company was in NCLT. NARCL, which is the government-backed asset reconstruction company, they've, according to sources, put in a firm bid for 10,000 crores, which means the company comes out of NCLT and things can move forward. The total debt is about 29,000 crores for Jaiprakash. They got a lot of land parcels, etc., which have in the intervening years appreciated in value. So the expectation is that they'll be able to come out of this debt mess. Of course, all of this needs RBI's blessings. Just wanted your thoughts there, Nishal.
So I do not track that name very closely, but what I see here is basically, given that they had large land bank parcels, I think that's why they are attracting this kind of interest. But I'm not, as I don't track it, I'm not very able to actually comment much on this name.
It's a long forgotten name because of the number of years which has passed, right? So absolutely, take that point. Sonia.
Okay, I just wanted a couple of stocks, right? Nishal, we were having this discussion on real estate. Prestige Estates has also been another company that has been on a tear. It's in fact, today it's in the news for acquiring another land parcel in Bengaluru. They've gotten into the Mumbai market in a big way. Macrotech developers, we were talking about how collections are up 20%. For someone who has completely stayed out of the real estate space, that is in the listed space, is it too late to enter now, or do you think there is more to go?
So definitely, I think now one has to have a horizon of more than a year basically to invest into the real estate, especially on the stock from the equities point of view. So if you have a horizon of more than 1 year, definitely I think there is a long way to go. As I was saying, the cycles are typically 5 to 7 years. We are just into the second or third year of this cycle. There is another 3 to 4 years of good upside still remaining in the real estate. But then you need to have a more than 1 year, because I think the stocks are already discounting 26 valuation pretty well.
Okay, thanks a lot, Nishal, for joining in. Have a great day. We also